clearly states if there is an entity that is willing to donate funds, they can take the donations. Even the Act permits taking of donations. They can also advertise the donations that so-and-so entity has in fact given the money so that that entity gets the credit. But working on the lake should be those who are in the advisory, either public trusts or registered societies, because under the supervision of the authority, but not corporate entities, not corporate. We have supervision of authorities there, not corporate entities. Yes, not corporate. Our restrictions.
I've got doubts, I have serious doubts, It is these entities are, Your Lordship asked the question, whom it should be given. That's the $1 million question, The question is, if we give it to XYZ, again a tender has to be called, after giving it. If we give it, then the question is who's going to manage it, whether they've actually utilized this.
To do it.
No, I think, there's some other interest to point out to give it to. I would understand if Your Lordship said that don't give it to anybody, give it to the person whose money it is. When the person, if you're giving it to any third party, they have no interest at all.
If the minute someone has money, they have a commercial interest. I have given 10 crores. I want to see how my 10 crores is utilized to almost 20 crores. Someone who is doing the work in the interest of the work has no commercial interest. But the minute someone puts in money, they have a commercial interest, my lords, and it can be supervised by BBMP.
CSR, Chapter 7, Clause 4, Subclause 2 of the Companies Act.
Their funding can be for social responsibility. But someone who wants to give CSR funds is not an expert on environmental or lake matters. Any company, by giving CSR funds, they may want to give the funding and they may want to do something for the city. But my lords, they may not have the expertise or even the interest towards the lake. They may just want to give it for CSR funds. You should utilize it. There is no harm. Yes.
Correct. That is Schedule 7, Section 130.
With great respect, CSR requirements are there under the Companies Act, which say that X% of amounts have to be given by each company towards CSR. But that is only limited, my lords, to giving the money. If we take money from company X as per the advisory, you should give the work, implementation of the work to entities which have an expertise. Can some tobacco company who gives CSR funds, will they have an expertise or will they have any interest? They are a corporate entity, my lords. Should not be working on the lake, my lords. That is the advisory, that corporate private parties should not be working on the lake. That does not limit them from getting their funding. My lords, let's keep it separate. We are more than happy if corporate entities give funding to the BBMP for public use. Let them take the funding. In fact, the Karnataka Lake Conservation Act says that they can receive donations. Please receive those donations. Even the advisory says receive the donations. But, and you can also advertise who has given the donations. That is all that the corporate interest is there. We have to ensure, my lords, that the lake is protected for the public. How do we ensure that, my lords? There should be no construction in the lake and the 30 meters buffer area. There should be no handing over of the lake land to any third party. Whoever they buy a tender to do the work. Yes. That's
we'll be bound by that.
Compliance.
Yes, definitely, Manoj.
And that is why my lords had passed the orders that you can't have MOUs with companies. You take their funding. It doesn't restrict them from taking funding, but no MOUs with the private companies. In fact, there were about 10 MOUs, which were all halted by my lords. We cannot, having this recognition, revive, my lords. Ultimately, the responsibility of the lake is with the BBMP. Yes.
Manoj, just one submission, Manoj. What your Lordship, Section 135 of the Companies Act, Manoj, Schedule 7, talks of activities which may be included by companies in their cooperative social responsibility policy. Subclause 4, ensuring environmental sustainability, ecology balance, protection of flora and fauna, animal welfare, agroforestry, conservation of natural resources, and maintaining quality. So they, please, Manoj. Absolutely. So therefore, my lords, again, my lord, this argument, my lord, give it to some, these agencies. Then I would say, my lord, give the list of agencies. That means they have no vested interest who are doing all this, my lord. They are not interested in the lake. My lord, therefore, my lord, we'll point out, my lord, schedule B, what are the work to be done, my lord. Let the, whoever is not only companies, I forgot one point, my lord, with my learned friend sought to agree. In the event of BBMP receiving multiple applications from numerous entities in respect of the same services, facility and asset, a committee as mentioned in clause 3.4 shall evaluate all the applications based on the relative experience, expertise, financial capability, resources of each entity to select the more suitable entity. Manoj, it is not companies, we are not, and the decision of the BBMP in that regard will be final, the validity periods will be fixed. We have stated that, Manoj, in page 5, para 7, clause 7 of a part of our policy, page 5, para 7. We have clearly stated, Manoj. And by chance we give it to anybody ineligible, all that is subject to judicial review, Manoj. And if you go wrong, we are always before your lordships. And there's an authority under the Act, Manoj, which supervises what is permitted, what is not permitted. And this petition has been going for nearly 10 years, Manoj. Page 5, clause 7 of my objections filed on 10th September. That is section 35, schedule 7, Manoj. Section 35, schedule 7, clause 4, Manoj, of schedule 7. In fact, Manoj, I mentioned it, culled it out also, part of my application, Manoj. First page, schedule 7, Manoj. It's page 1, para 9 of my memo dated 10th September. 10th September, Manoj. I'll give, and in fact, I'll give it to my learned friend also, Manoj. She can also go through, Manoj, have any. Please, Manoj. Each lake, please.
What my learned advocate read about the page 8, clause 4, you will see. Of the memo, clause 8. And that they have to provide benches, construction of maintenance, public, page 8, you will. Okay. So that is prohibited in section 12(3) of the Tank Conservation Development Authority Act. Clause 4.
Page 8 of what?
In the memo filed by the government. Page. Another document that. Yeah. Contribution of facilities services.
Page 8 of draft policy.
No, they say construction of park
You read it.
and open spaces adjacent to lake, etc. This is what it says, you know.
Page 4. Page 4.
And
Read it.
yes, if you look into section 12(3) of the act which has been amended, Karnataka Tank Conservation Development Authority Act.
12(3). Yes. Read it.
Section 12, subclass 3, you know,
Yes.
subsection 3. It has been amended in 2018. Make any construction or carry on any commercial or recreation or industrial activity within 30 meters from the boundary of the lake. That's what buffer zone is. So no activities are permitted in the buffer zone, 30 meters. Beyond that, that is not, because they can do it. Not, that is the intention is that to see the.
For whosoever develops lake, either government authority, agency,
They can't
private
construct
party, corporate sector, has to abide by all these things.
it cannot be inside the lake.
That is,
These construction activities are inside the lake.
that goes without saying.
Clause 6 may be kindly seen, clause 6. Construct road, bridges and allied works within the tank area, including the tank bond. The authority may grant such permission for such works only after ensuring the original capacity of the lake is not reduced, even after such work.
Original capacity of tank.
That much, we are all bound by this.
By constructing this, lake area is reduced, you know. No. Can you only up to the buffer zone, it cannot be within the. That's my responsibility. No can be take place.
According to you, who should work with the lake? Madam,
Yes, my lords, the only agencies or entities that can work on the lake for any lake restoration or protection or improvement would be entities which the BBMP engages. They can be private vendors, they can be community organizations, but they cannot be funders. In fact, the responsibility of the lake is with the BBMP. They're still doing desilting work, etc. They may engage third-party contractors, for example. In this MOU, this is a community involvement MOU, a policy. If they want to involve the community, there should be resident associations. Why not kindly see the title? The title is Community Involvement for Lake Conservation Policy. They want to involve community. It actually means residents groups, neighborhood groups, watch groups, public societies or public charitable trust who will do a watching or maintenance of the lake. If they want any private contractor to do some desilting work or some other cleaning work on the lake, BBMP's responsibility, they are the custodian of the lake or the tank development authority, they can definitely engage third parties. They can't say you bring the money and you do it. Your funding has to be separate, which is what the advisory says. You can't have corporate entities who will give funding and then are given permission to enter the lake premises. That is what the advisory says. If you want community involvement, please engage only resident groups, NGOs, registered societies.
My officers will be very happy with that one.
My lords, the onus on the lake is with the BBMP. They cannot palm off their responsibility. They are the custodians of the lake.
after development of the lake, who will be regulatory?
It will be, in fact, they have to regulate. In fact, even if they hand over to do some work, my lords, even today, they don't need this permission. They needed this permission only because there is an order of my lord saying that no MOUs with corporate entities.
Let us say we'll think it over.
That's why they are opposing the lordship. 4th September 2026, the Tamar Court passed a detailed order. Based on the time frame is given how to maintain the lake, how to remove all the obstructions or constructions on the stormwater drain. So that has not been completed until duty hours. Time frame was given by the Tamar Court, 4th September.
I say, next. 8.
One second. My lords, what date are my lords?
Grateful to my lords.
My lords have given some date, my lords.
8.
My lords, if some 11th, my lords, that week I'm not there. 11th, my lords, grateful.
Immediate.
Great. 11th November.
Number 9.
Madam Lord, regarding the non-filling of the